people
why.
will, like, a lot of presidents will argue that they need, like, admin or super admin rather than mod, but it's not that big of a difference. It just gives them, like, 2 more commands each rank. That they need,
Like, here's also the thing I'd like to add on to
admin
this.
or super admin rather than
reason for
mod, but
the
it's not that big
corruption
of a
is
difference.
because
It just gives them, like, 2 more
executive
commands each rank.
kinda is easily to bully, okay? He's easily
super
to be
admin
bullied
rather
and
than
manipulated
mod.
very
It's not that
easily,
big of a difference.
and I've been
It just
trying to
gives
work
them,
with
like,
him on it,
2 more commands
and I've been
each
telling
rank.
him, don't listen to these people, because the biggest incident, and he'll remember, and of course I'm gonna come out about this, this is an old one, and I've been trying to work with him on it. It was about 1 or 2 months ago. Do you know who Slideshow is?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
In the old administration, I believe it was Dev, not or Charles. It was a conspiracy.
Yeah, I've heard of
And
him.
that was added to this chat where there was a bunch of, like, it was me, Nate, and a bunch of, like, basically all the founders, above people above the president. It was more of ran by Slide, and where they kind of manipulated. He manipulated Nate. So basically, he said, "Okay, let's kick him out and let's make another person president." Basically, because of some false accusations, of which I have a couple, like, documents. I have a bunch of proof about it. But let's see if I can find them.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the, like, speculation is I have certainly witnessed many presidents who lie to people straight out to their faces, like, say, I have, like, and that's why they get removed, is because they're either inactive or they lie, because, like, let's see here, I have witnessed a couple presidents promise me a job in their administration, and then when they get elected, or the next day, if they're already president, they'll just hire somebody else. And that's why they get removed.
Yeah, like, it is really bad, like, kind of what's been going on, but, like, that's where I'm kind of like, it is, Mr. or Madam President, I don't know if you're a male or female until you tell me your voice, or let me hear your voice, come on. But anyways, though, you do have a point, though, because it's so easy to replace people, and I was in a actually, recently, USA was so bad, I had to leave it. I was, high up in the government, and I'm not gonna give the USA name, but their corruption was so bad, it's worse than ours. And of course, in every USA there is corruption, no matter what. Like, for instance, you go to FUSA, or Fire Fumes USA, or quote-unquote, USA Protectors USA, and you constantly see people that are shooting. But that's not even that bad. It's more of, like, their USA had the founder, like, the actual founder, who would make himself president and then founder. So he would switch on and off. So he would want to be in control of the government, so then he would kick it. It's like, okay, you're gone. So basically, it was a dictatorship, that's what we were, kind of, back then. We were kind of like a dictatorship when stuff was going on when I left for that short period of time.
Yeah, and, you know, I don't know if you're referring to Happy George's USA, but...
No, I'm not.
Happy George's USA, I've been there on and off many times. Same with the old Our Standing Founders USA. Our Standing Founders USA was actually, like, it felt like it was actually a good USA. Like, it actually was. Like, you could get national security threatened for anything that was serious and threaten national security rather than just, like, killing one person. Which has happened to me. I killed one person and I got NST'd for killing one person.
See, the problem with this is that people do not see it like that anymore. People do not have the same respect as they used to. Because nowadays, it's so easy. Like, okay, here. I sent in 3 messages. I went to Fire Fumes USA. And I joined them like, why not? I'll be able to get a job within the hour or so. I sent 3 resumes, and here, I'll get them exactly for you. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
And I was able to get 3 jobs. FBI, Cyber Command, and NASA. And all of them were leadership roles.
Yeah. It's just with everybody wants like a leadership position, like president or vice president or like a secretary, like Secretary of Homeland Security, etc. But then nobody wants those lower ranking positions, say like agent of an agency or deputy director of an agency. It has to be a director, secretary, or one of those high ranking positions like chief justice, a congressional leader. Nobody, not once have I seen one person besides in Secret Service be the head of operations. That is a neglected position.
You have a really good... Continue.
Well, head of operations is just a neglected position. Nobody wants it. Nobody's willing to fill it because they always want something like director. And they will literally sometimes blackmail the director into making them deputy director so they don't have to settle for head of operations.
Well, here, let me interrupt you there. For your end part, for basically blackmailing them, actually, we did have a case of that, and it's kind of like a virus going around all the United States. And it's this person, someone you dislike, obviously. Our FBI debunked it, surprisingly. We figured out who it was, and someone you dislike. Now, obviously, that's from the admin. Yes, obviously. He tried to, basically, he did remove people from government. Basically, he's like, if you don't do this, then I'll leak this, or whatever.
Yeah.
And the power was really strong. Then continue on with your other comments of why people don't want to be other. Now, let's be honest here. You already know, like, for the CIA, I've been a CIA director 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And to some people, it's like, wow, that's very little. It's like, well, I actually can keep my job, unlike you. See, that's the point, though. You want to be able to keep your job. It's like, it's not about the many times. It's about you want to keep your job longer than everyone else. Because that's what gains you reputation. But, as saying, though, people want to be... You automatically know what the director does. Basically, tells what everyone wants. Basically, it's like, hey, I want you to do this for me, and then basically you're done. But people realize it's not that easy. Like, once you get in there, people think it's easy. But when they have to be an agent or whatever, it's like they don't know what to do. Okay, they don't know what to do. It's boring, everything. But then they know automatically what the director does. So, like, for instance, what does the head of operation do besides the obvious title?
Well, yeah, nobody really knows because they don't really want that position, like head of operations. I know exactly what they do in every single thing. They plan out the operations, they're in charge of the security and everything. For Secret Service, that is. But
and, like, rolling out the operation, like, but a lot of people don't really understand that. They don't like to do research on the role.
yeah.
And obviously, it's more of the title. People like the title. When you tell someone... like, when you join your friend's game, or they join you, they're like, yo, man, what rank are you in here? Which is not too long ago, I actually asked someone, and they're like, I'm just Congress. I'm like, well, hey, damn, that's still a good role. But then say that you join, like, your friend joins your game, and they say, hey, man, what's your rank? Oh, I'm, in the CIA. Oh, yeah, what role, or what rank? I'm an agent in training, or, like, a special agent. It's like, oh, okay, because they expect something out of you.
Yeah.
They expect you to, like, see if they can give, like, if you can give them a free ranking, which is bad. Like, you can't expect something from someone. Like, now, everyone has done this in here, including me. I have done this to people. I've said, hey, can I be part of your administration? They message me, though. I don't message them first. They message me. Like, hey, I have something for you. And I'm like, yeah, I have something for you too. I was wondering if I could join your administration. They automatically accept me in, because a couple things about me, though. Actually, no, I'm not going to say anything about me.
And that's happened to everybody. And, you know, I was in this one USA, and, of course, everybody wants the position of Director of National Intelligence or something in the intelligence community, and they don't focus on those more little agencies that need to grow, like Metropolitan Police Department, which a lot of people will call mall cops because they don't even want it. Things like everybody wants to be in SWAT. Actually,
No, hold on. Let me interrupt you there. You are right. Some basically mall cops. See, the reason behind this is that a lot of USAs put like those agencies first, which is this is something I've been trying to do, but like this was an old plan that I tried to do. Okay, I tried to get during a time when the group was in fault basically. I'm like, okay, let's do this plan basically where people have to take a class, everyone has to join the Metropolitan Police Department, because how does a country start off first? It's like, first you need law, and then comes order. And it's like, you can't just have the CIA rolling up in and arresting and killing people, because the CIA works in the foreign parts of the world, and the NSA is domestic.
yeah.
Like, you more of need the law first, and then you can have the military, or you can have the military, then the police. Either or works, but you just need to kind of separate the police and the military from the rest of the agencies, because it just frustrates people. Like, people would rather be like, when you say this, hey man, what rank are you? Oh, I'm an MPD patrol officer. It's like, oh, that's a weak spot. See, here's what I think. I think the roles, like in the MPD in the U.S., like the Army, need to be higher than the original agencies. Like, some agencies I don't think should be in DC are like CIA and DIA, because they shouldn't even be in there.
Yeah.
Like, for the NSA, it's like, okay, it's like, what will you do then? But you just need to give, like, for instance, more points to the MPD, or more, let's see here, let's do an analogy. Let's give them more money than the CIA. So basically, okay, they have $5 more than them. So make it so the MPD is more special than the CIA. Like, that's what you kind of got to do. I guess so then you're more focusing on, oh, wow, this agency is so cool, let me join it.
Yeah. And really, this is how they should really fill spots. They should start by getting a police force, getting FBI, MPD, and SWAT filled. Those are the main 3 agencies that need to be filled first. But many people fill things like Secret Service and, well, they can fill their secretary positions, but it would be easier to form a police force. And then it should go like, they should really focus on getting a full working judicial system. Many USAs don't use, they really only have like 2 Supreme Court justices and 2 federal court justices. The problem with that is nobody is willing to do a lawsuit against somebody because there aren't really enough judges, or there's not that, or the judges aren't active. And a lot of people will neglect the smaller agencies, like the president said, the Defense Intelligence Agency. It is important, but it is needed. And nobody really gets that. All they get is Secret Service, NSA, CIA. Those are almost the only 3 jobs anybody wants, besides the president.
And Congress.
Yeah.
People like to be...
And Congress needs to be filled after getting a working judicial system. Congress is a main thing of the United States. It's needed over almost anything else besides judicial system and a police force.
See, and kind of going back to what you said a little bit ago, like, I don't personally think that the FBI is really needed, because what investigations will really happen against people? It's like...
Well, yeah.
Like, what is the really big use of it? You can't really detect if someone did that or that. It's not really needed.
Oh, yes, this is a part of the stream you found. Actually... How many people are watching this? I can't even tell, but...
I don't think anyone is, but I'm still live streaming, so...
I'm recording this to post it on YouTube because people wanted me to record it because they couldn't make it, but, like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but, like, because they can't really come investigate because, A, the bodies just fall apart into pieces and don't stay in their place. So there's really nothing for the FBI to do rather than just watch somebody kill somebody and then go arrest them. Like, maybe if we added, like, again, a fall damage script and then a script where bodies stay after they die, maybe that would give the FBI something to investigate, whether it was a homicide or a suicide. But nobody really wants to like find a plugin to make bodies stay after they die.
Well, see, it's kind of like an actual, like, we currently have a system where when you reset or you die, the body falls over, kind of, which it can freeze the body there, freeze the parts there. But see, you kind of have a good idea, but there's a couple reasons along with it. It would cause extraordinary lag. Because I can explain this kind of to you. I have an idea of it in my head. So basically, here's what happens. Someone kills this person. You look around the scene and you figure out what type of ammo it's using. You go to the gun store or wherever, and you see what gun it is. You ask the buyer or you ask the gun shop owner who you bought what the log is that you basically paid for, like the people that bought that type of gun. Then you go ask them. Of course, then that would require street cameras, but this also requires a lot of scripts, which creates more lag.
Yeah, and you would need a script to make the ammo stay after it's fired, which would, again, cause massive lag.
It would be more of like an ID type of thing, like...
Yeah.
The bullet, like, size, the bullet wound size, the entry. But, like, it's just more of a complex type of thing. But it's definitely possible.
Yeah. And, like, going back to what we were... Well, there's a lot... I've seen USAs get rid of the FBI, like... If you've ever heard of Kyle S. Ford, or just... His name was, like, Kyle S. Ford. Well,
no, I have not.
He was the president of a USA called Our Standing Founders USA. And, of course, it was an 8K member USA. It went up to 9K at one point. Our Standing Founder left, and he gave it to the president at that point. But then he came back, and Kyle gets elected. And then Kyle decides to get rid of the FBI, because it can't really do anything besides go arrest people when they kill somebody. And even then, what really happens is people just get arrested, they go to jail for like 10 minutes, and then they just get released because we have no Bureau of Prisons to go interrogate them, and if they're not guilty, let them go.
Like, you could say that about MPD too, like all they do is kind of arrest people, and same with kind of like Marshal Service.
Marshal Service is something...
doesn't really have a point.
Yeah, Marshal Service is something that I really wanted to go into in this stream because of the fact that Marshal Service is kind of something that's needed. Because say that MPD can't get to the person who kills the guy, so he goes to hide and the Marshal Service goes to get them, and the Marshal Service protects witnesses. I mean, is that not needed?
Not really, because we can't, like, you kind of want to add in the realistic aspect, but there's a bunch of flaws here. There's other forms of communication, like for instance Discord, and like the normal chatting system on Roblox. You can just tell them, oh, blah 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 blah, but then it kind of turns into a he said / she said.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when evidence plays a role, which can be easily manipulated if in the correct way, but most of the time it isn't.
Yeah.
Well, most people like to cut out the parts where they look not guilty at all.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's that part where we're gonna delve out of the part where everything's not needed right now, but I was once in this USA. Get it, okay? In my previous USA, I had been DNI for 5 consecutive terms because I was doing so well. I go to this new USA, I apply for DNI, I said that I was DNI for 5 consecutive terms, and I stayed in it for the whole term, for 5 terms, and there's this other guy applying who's been it like 15 times, and he barely held it for 2 days. But yet, he got hired over me, even though he could barely keep his job in those past DNI positions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, finish.
I got nothing really to comment on that besides the point that kind of shows you how much people do not know about the position that well.
Yeah. And, of course, you go to that USA where the founder is in charge of everything, like Happy George's USA, where, say, there's a tie in election, he breaks the tie, say there's an inactive president, he'll remove him without, Congress, and I was just in Happy George's USA, like, 4 or 5 weeks ago. Presidential elections were running, because the founder had just removed the president. I won 13-12, but then the other dude running named Preston Ellington somehow bribed the founder into counting a vote made on his alt after elections ended, so that it made 13-13, so that the founder would pull favoritism and make this dude named Preston Ellington president.
Yeah, and that kind of ties into corruption, but I got nothing really to comment to there because it's just amazing.
But yeah, like, corruption is just a thing that needs to go. Like, if I were to be...
You really can't end corruption, though. It's everywhere. No matter where you turn, it's going to be everywhere, anywhere. Like, for instance, no matter what, right now as we speak, there's corruption going on in another USA. People are planning something, and we don't know what. And it's very confusing on the way on how everything works. But corruption will never be able to be, like, lost unless if you are a very strict person. But then people will find it very boring, because people, like, you have to give it the respect, but then you easily, like, when you turn into a big douche, like, all of a sudden, or you kind of put down the law for, like, in the end, people, like, you learn who your friends are very fast.
Yeah. And, like, occasionally, when I am the president in USA's, like, I've been president in an 8K member USA, I've been president in a 3K member USA, I've been president in a 6K, president in, like, a 600, 1000, etc., which I have been. You know, I never accepted any form of corruption. If I saw corruption in a government official, they were gone without notice. Like, if they hired their friends and not based on experience, they were gone.
Like, that just, like, yeah, it's kind of really difficult to a topic because of all the things that kind of revolve around it.
Yeah. And then, of course, you get to that occasional USA where they claim that they're realistic, and then you have this noob as president who doesn't even know what he's doing.
I find that very ironic. I'm actually in a USA where the owner is actually called Realistic USA.
Yeah, I've seen that USA. But, like, and then, like, there's, like, that, occasional USA where they claim that they're completely unrealistic, and then they're completely realistic no matter what.
Sorry, man, you cut it out.
Oh, sorry. Well, you get to that occasional USA where they say that they're completely unrealistic, but then they're actually realistic. And you never even know because you don't join that USA.
Yeah, and then it just goes haywire if you do. But, let's move on. We've discussed that for long enough.
Well, just as some news for you people, Vice President Devnot has been sworn in behind closed doors by the founder of the United States of America. We are getting some new Washington, D.C. development, as we can see, looks like, and let's see what will be added to D.C. soon.
This is my old board that I
Okay.
actually have and might still use. As you can tell, everything is kind of easy to find out. The new cars, though,
Yeah,
I'm sorry to do this to you, but
there will be no WASD cars.
there will not. Now, about WSD cars, people get very frustrated when I say no to them, and I'm pretty sure you are too. Of which is pretty sure the next question was going to be why not WSD cars, and the reason
Yeah.
behind it is that if you're to join in a USA or I mean in New York City, and you're to run into a person or to run into anything, they can glitch out in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Your tires will easily fall off, and it's just bad. And they also cause a lot more lag than M&N cars, but the lag also could be determined for the M&N cars too. But another problem is though, is that when you take a map kind of like New York, I mean not New York, DC or Las Vegas, and you implement WASD cars into there, it does not look right. Just think of it this way. You put WASD cars into NUSA's Las Vegas. Your first reaction will be like, what happened? It's like, that looks so weird. First, A, because you've never seen that in a Las Vegas before, and B, because it's so different and it looks ugly.
Yeah, and I'm not willing to learn, like, WASD cars would I've never encountered WASD cars in my life. Do they work? Is it always like some cars you have to start them up? You know that, right? Like there's those.
Yeah, some of them you do have to start them up.
Yeah, and I don't think that I'm willing to just learn how to, I'm not willing to learn how to use WASD cars. I'd rather just switch with the M&N cars so that I don't have to learn something
But
new.
also, though, like, people could say the same thing that they're not willing to use M&N cars, which is that creates a whole new aspect. Because I actually, not too long ago, when I was still as a developer, I was teaching this director how to use the M&N cars, and he was such a noob. I swear, he was like at least, he was really young. I could feel that he was really young because he did not get the concept of it.
Yeah.
And it was bad. Like, it took me a good hour to teach him.
Wow. So I do see that on this Washington, D.C. development board that there is going to be new headquarters.
Oh, for new HQ? Yes, that is correct.
I think that agencies such as NSA and what else? HLS and stuff like if we had an SSO and let's see what else here. I can pull up even more things
See,
that
I know a
get
bunch
the
of agencies don't mind.
literally the same HQ every USA. Like,
There is two different HQs though in this, and that is the Homeland Security HQ slash Intelligence Community HQ, and then the Cyber Command HQ, which is actually supposed to be used for the CIA.
yeah,
Now, both of those,
and I've
now,
seen that.
the Homeland Security, you probably have seen that one before in FUSA or other USAs, not as much so.
Yeah,
A, because the original creator, Assassin Cooper, he did not like leak it out, which is so that means I had to go around and build it myself, and which is if you compare them both to the insides, they're 100% different.
yeah,
But when you like compare my Cyber Command HQ slash CIA HQ to anyone else's, you actually won't be able to find it unless if they have the DC that is leaked for WUSA. I built that one on my own.
Yeah.
Not like last year.
and I get it. Stuff like NSA, MPD, what else? MPD and NSA, I have never come across a USA where it has something different than NUSA's headquarters, besides this new one that's been going around made by, what's his face? Let me get it up here. Jonathan Fremont. It was updated around May 10th. I have it. It's a great headquarters. It's way better than NUSA's, but nobody uses it. Same for the White House. Everybody either uses NUSA's White House or our standing founder's White House.
See, now, like, there's 3 White Houses all total. It's the boring White House, which is typical. There is the nice-looking White House, which is kind of completely furnished. And then there is the super high-definition White House that is not completed.
Yeah.
Which is, when you go to Fire Fumes USA, you see the mixture of the furnished one and the super nice-looking combined, which is really smart. But also, it is not new, which is actually a thing to be added in Washington, D.C. version 3, which is, if we go into it, which is, you're going to get the first preview of it. Actually, multiple people have seen this DC. It is nowhere near completion. It has a couple more months left. Me and a friend are working on it. I don't know if exactly WUSA is going to get it or not. It just depends.
And that's the thing, like, there's all these leaked DCs that everybody uses, okay? And it really gets old. Like,
you have a point, like, and the worst part is that people try to claim that they built it, or that they built all this stuff, and they added all this stuff, and then I just show them, it's like, oh yeah, I have this DC. See, and the biggest one that's going around is the new one, which is surprisingly NUSA's new DC, which is, it was supposed to be released, but I guess it never happened.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what's going on about that, but like, if you notice, I added the little details, which are right over here, the little characters.
Oh yeah. Do you have like the wall of names yet?
Like for on the pillars, or the...
Well, no, there's like supposed to be a wall
from this.
Like,
there's like stars, those stars over there.
Well, no, like, let me show you, like, well, like, this is looking very nice right now. I mean, it, as far as I can see, it only has the World War II monument, but, like, it's supposed to be from, like, there to there. It's, like, this big gap. It's supposed to be a wall that has the names of every U.S. soldier that died in World War II.
That will be... I'm trying to get this as Ooh. Hold on a second. A little bit of an echo. Unknown bongos.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I beat him, so my bad. But, I'm trying to make this as accurate as possible.
And this is really good. I have never seen anything of this
nature, I would say.
Realism. I mean, I would love to see... It's just, there's only, like, again, 3 White Houses out there. And, like, we really need somebody who can just build one that's good, fully furnished, has a 3rd floor and everything, and just give it to One USA. Don't let anybody else have it. Give it to One USA.
There's the problem. There's no such thing as One USA. Because once One USA has it, the rest of the people have it. So the people who can edit the game have it. So, like, say that I was to leave. Like, this happened already. It was a bunch of us. Me, Abdullah, Agent, Reaper X Cry, and some other people that were working on DC version 2. Which was a big thing. Like, once we got that out, people, like, it was super active. People were super hyped for it. But it was kind of like the down low version. It was kind of crappy. Nothing was really new about it besides the buildings. And kind of on how much wider it got, and some new tools.
Yeah.
But now, I go to this USA, okay? And I notice they have it. I'm like, wait, how did you get this USA? Like, oh, we got this from this one guy who got it from this one guy. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's basically Abdullah's. It's basically, I reset myself. You know what the funny part is? I go into credits and my name is still there, and I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah, and then there's like, and that brings me back to like LV and LA. There is a leaked version, like half-built leaked version of Noosa's LA, and people are just building onto it and claiming that they built it all. And
See,
same
now-
with LV. There's one version of LV. Well, there's multiple, but they're really all just built onto one, which is Noosa's. Because Noosa had the first LV. It has been the first, and essentially it will, unless somebody else makes an LV, gives it to One USA, it's gonna be out there. Somehow it's gonna be out there. Everybody's gonna have it. Nobody's gonna use Noosa's, and it's just gonna happen all over again.
Yeah, it's kind of called like the cycle. Basically, it's a cycle. Reduce, reuse, recycle. That's kind of like what it is.
And I get that.
See, and it's like no matter what, people want to have a slice of the pie. People like to have. When you give something to someone, you tell them, okay, at least give me some credit, you know. And when they say, okay, I'm gonna give you credit, they don't. They say they like to show it off. They like to show off your building. It's like,
Yeah.
So then here's what happens. You get discredited. Like in the beginning of when I was a developer for WUSA, and I came back, people were like, "Who is this guy? I don't know him." And like today, for instance, I'm like, "Hey, executive, yo, you need any devs?" He's like, "Yeah," and a bunch of people are like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah.
And then I just go back and tell them, it's like, go look. It's like, who do you think built this? It's like, I don't know, one of our older devs, like someone that I don't know. It's like, well, he's right in front of you, and it's because people like to take credit and then get that type of like feeling. It's like, yeah, I built this, and I basically lied to them. I basically lied to my online friend and told them to make myself look better. When in the end, though, they're just when they ask them, it's like, okay, can you build something for me, please? They can't. They're like, no, sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
That's why still today, I'm like, when people ask me, it's like, yo, man, can you build me something? I'm like, what do you want me to build? Depending on the difficulty, you know what? I have gotten about 10 requests from 10 different people asking me if I can build them a city. Now it's like, dude, how long, like, when do you need me to finish it by? 2 weeks. I'm like, what do you think? I'm like a magician? And it's just the point, though. It's like people come to me because they know I can build. Like, obviously, what I just showed you, DC. I'm the builder here. My friend is the scripter. I can build, and that's what people know me for.
Yeah. And I'm really known as that dude who can. A lot of people know me as different things, like One USA I was known as the NST, because I was NST 3 times in a row.
Yeah, Twinkie, I remember you were a builder for NY.
And then, like, you get, like, what is it? And then you get to that other USA where people call you that dude who can revive anything. Any USA that is gone down. Like, it's no longer active. Or you go to somebody else and they know you as the simple, like, a builder.
See, that's what I kind of am. But, like, throughout my time period of being in a lot of USAs, and I've made a lot of friends, and now I can, like, in the USA, I think even in Noosa, people have even offered me to be, like, in Noosa, to be their chief of staff.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. And yeah, it is kind of annoying, like, don't you think?
Yeah, I get that. So just a couple more questions here. So, you get the point that I'm trying to make here. Just get the point that I'm trying to make. So, is it possible that sometime in the future we're gonna get a highway that goes around DC and, like, shops and, like, a couple other things? And, like, since we have, like, Las Vegas and we're possibly getting, like, an NYC, is it possible that there's going to be, like, a branch off that has 2 different ways? One goes to NYC and then one goes to LV, like, with a teleporter brick. And like, if you're in LV, you can go to DC or NYC, and if you're in NYC, you can go to DC or LV?
Now, see, I think you're more of making it more complicated than it needs to be. Like, I was more of thinking by making an airport, like, as our main game, and then from there you can kind of, like, go through a teleporter or a plane, basically, where it takes you to Las Vegas, Washington, D.C., or, like, another state like Miami.
Okay. And I get that. It definitely seems plausible as a thing that we could do. I guess that will be all. Thank you for your time, Mr. Developer.
And thank you for your time. I'm gonna have to go now, so, good night.
Good night.
Hello.
Okay, looks like we got the
Oh, there.
looks like we got the vice president. It's just
He's muted.
oh my. You want to unmute yourself? Okay. So, how's your day been so far, Mr. Vice President?
My day's been wonderful.
So, a couple questions about Senate as a senator is committees. They are a primary function of the Senate. How many committees on estimation do you think that we will get, and what will they be?
Now, Senator, I really appreciate you asking that question, as having concerned senators is a very good thing to have in the nation. Now, as of the number of committees, I am not sure, but the names of them, we have come up with me and some of my staffing team have come up with a few. Those would be Foreign Affairs Committee, Business and Economic Development Committee, Homeland Committee, Intelligence,
Judicial?
and much more. Yes, there will be a judicial, and then there will be an executive oversight. Well, yes, there will be an executive oversight committee as well to oversee operations of the executive.
And then, won't there also be a defense committee as well?
That's called Armed Services.
Okay. And then, I see that we are getting a lot of senators. When exactly will we be stopping? When exactly will we stop appointing senators?
Senators will start being appointed once we reach our max number of senators, or once the government gets stable enough to have actual Senate elections. Now, right now, our government's kind of wanky-janky. It's not stable at all. That's why me, the president, are working tirelessly day and night to ensure that this nation gets stable very soon.
Okay, and then, so, just as a quick question, when do you think the next, Senate meeting will be so that the public can attend?
The next Senate session is scheduled for next month. Only reason I scheduled it for next month is only reason I scheduled it for next month. Sorry about that. I'm kind of sick right now, so please forgive me. But the only reason I scheduled it for next month is because I wasn't sure that we'd be getting to this as fast. Now I did announce publicly that it is scheduled. However, it is scheduled for next month, but it can be rescheduled.
Okay.
So that if I do reschedule it, I'll let you all know a week or two in advance.
Okay.
And I'm currently working on a chamber for the Senate and House to meet in, as well as a committee chamber. That way we have someone for the public to see.
Okay, just a couple more questions for you here. Who currently has the majority in Senate and House? If you don't know House, it's fine.
Now, House is kind of screwed up. House needs me, and they don't have. So I am going to try to tap in with House a little bit and fix things up in House. But for Senate, we have the majority. And if you all don't know my party, I'm a proud Democrat from Florida.
Not counting yourself.
I'm not counting myself. Even without me, Democrats have one more seat over the Republicans. So us Democrats
actually,
have
no.
the majority.
Actually, Republic has the majority. Senator Bob Prada,
Sir,
me, and Bongo.
No, Bungo's clearly stated to me that he was a Democrat.
Was nickname says Republic.
Well, he needs to change that because I don't like being lied to, and if I feel like I'm lied to, it's
First of all, I didn't make that name.
yeah.
Somebody gave me the name.
He's a
Are
Democrat.
you or are you not Republican?
Democrat.
Okay, then that means
There
the
we go.
Democrat has the lead.
Now, I know
So,
you're a Republican, so you probably wanted you were trying to get me there, weren't you?
no, I just, I'm gonna keep this PG here, but as I don't agree with some of Donald Trump's views, like building a wall. We don't need to build a wall to keep the spics out.
We don't have to go into politics here. I was just stating I know you're a Republican and you want Republicans out of you.
Yeah, but
You could tell these to your followers, subscribers later on, but right now I want to continue with the issue because I love getting questions. I love answering them. I love knowing what you all think about me and knowing what you all think I should be doing better and what the government needs. I love knowing all this stuff. So with me doing this, it gives me all this information. But I need you to start back with the questions. That way I can
okay.
get back to working on our government.
So
And know exactly what I need to do.
exactly when do you estimate the all of Congress will be fully functional?
Now, Senate is close to functional. Me and the president will be meeting to set the max number of senators tomorrow. Me and her will be meeting tomorrow to set the max number of senators.
Okay.
The only reason we haven't set it yet is because we wanted to get our quorum set. And normally quorum is at least half, if not 2/3 of the
Okay.
overall number.
Okay.
So
Continue.
we'll be meeting tomorrow about that. But for House, if I must be real here, I don't fully agree with appointing House members, but since the government is in a time of need and we are in a crisis situation, appointing House members is okay at this time.
Okay, I think that will be all the questions I have unless the Madam President, Bongo, or the developer would like to ask you any questions.
Please feel free to ask. I really love hearing what you all have to say about the administration.
Well, I mean, I don't really have as many questions for you or to rant on about what questions I'm asking you as I did the developer, because there were we were talking about a lot of things that involved like agencies and development, but
Well, look, if I must interfere here, I think Tweak is a very good developer. He's done more for this USA developing wise. He's done more than any other developer this USA has had. Which I am very thankful that he's decided to come back to this USA with me and the president. Because I don't know if you all knew, but we did leave for a short period of time.
yeah.
So I am very thankful that Twiki came back because we need his assistance. And some people may say that the development team is slacking because DC isn't the best right now. But believe it or not, Twiki is working behind the scenes day and night, tirelessly to ensure that DC gets to the point we wanted at one day.
Yeah, and DSC is a big staple for activity as well as LV. And I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but the developer has given us some, what is it called? Easter eggs about future cities.
Now, I have no problem with that. I am all in for future cities because that means I can actually start having senators and House members represent things for real life. Well, that's say we don't represent them for real life now, but I can get them to. Okay, so let's bring this perspective. If you have Miami, right? Miami's located in Florida.
Yeah.
So what we do is we have two senators from Florida, two senators represent Florida, and then we go into Miami with House. So with House representatives, they'd be broken down into districts. That's why so many House members in real life, because House is broken down into districts between all 50 states.
Yeah. And like,
So it
continue.
allowed for House to have way more members than we can set a cap on for now. And for Senate, it just be more realistic for us.
Yeah. And so I get what you're saying. Say we got to Miami, okay? We could have 2 senators from our Senate represent that city. We could have 4 from our House represent Florida. Same for if we got a New York. Same for LV. Same if we got a Salt Lake, which I hope we do.
No, that's close to what I was saying. But what I want to strive for with this USA is realism. I want to hit realism right on the top of the head with a nail.
Okay.
Realism needs to be our top priority. I can't stress this enough to all the cabinet, department directors, future cabinet members. I can't stress this enough to anyone. Realism needs to be the top priority for this USA.
Well then, I need to ask you one question. Do you or do you not think that the Federal Bureau of Investigation at this point is needed in Roblox?
In Roblox, yes, they are. Are you talking about at the stage of this United States or overall?
This United States, any United States.
The FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, is very needed.
Explain how.
Because they're needed because in real life, the FBI is the ones that investigate terrorism that happened on U.S. soil. They're the ones that investigate crimes. They do a lot of stuff. So I feel like they're needed on Roblox because, well, let's say a mafia attacks DC, right?
Okay.
No one can invest. If the FBI's around, no one can investigate to see why they attacked it, how they attacked it, where did they attack. No one can do that. Where did they land? We can't do that.
I get that.
And also, the FBI has I think it's counterterrorism. I forget the name, but I'm pretty sure that's the name, counterterrorism unit. And they come in to take out threats. That way, we won't have to deploy the National Guard. We won't have to lose too many police officers. Yes, we may lose police officers, and they will be honored because we do honor our men and women in blue and red.
Okay.
Because firefighters and police officers are very important to community safety.
And what would you say exactly if we put a fire system in DC?
A fire system would be realistic, and I support it.
Well, say like we got if we have DC, we put in like a suburban area. And there was a fire system where random houses would go up in fires. We would have a need for fire departments, even the FBI, because then they could investigate whether it was arson or just an accidental fire.
The FBI doesn't investigate fires. That's up to the fire marshals. And DC doesn't have DC doesn't have suburbs.
Well, just say that we added suburbs.
No, I would support that because, like I said, I want realism to be number one. And DC, they don't have suburbs. They have townhouses. That's if you go to DC, you'll see a lot of townhouses.
Okay. I think that will be all for you, unless Unknown Bongos has a question.
Senator Bongos, ask me a question, please. I'm really questions right now. I don't know if y'all can tell.
I don't really have any.
Okay.
You know, none at all.
Not really right now.
You all are gonna ask me what I have plans for Senate, what direction I want to take, nothing like that.
I mean, I'm pretty tired.
You're pretty tired.
Yeah.
Well, look, I woke up at 10 o'clock and it's 10 o'clock now, so I'm not that tired. Like, this actually got me hyped
Okay.
because I love doing questions.
I
But-
believe that will be all, Mr. Vice President. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Now we
I
will.
actually have one question.
Go ahead, Twinkie.
Now, you spoke some kind words a little bit ago, but you know me, and I have to ask questions that may or may not be liked by some people. But this is just because I want to know out of my curiosity. Obviously, like you said, kind of towards the beginning, that you left a couple times. What do you think will make up for that for when you left?
Now,
Like when
Yes.
the country was in need.
I left because I felt it wasn't in my best interest to serve a country that I didn't believe in, that I didn't believe that would succeed. Now, I've regained that trust and I'm coming back. The only reason I lost trust is because certain people in the United States, within the United States, that were causing problems and could not be removed. I won't name those people, but to answer your question, Twinkie, a lot of things will make up. I plan on being more active in the American lives. I plan to not be surrounded by Secret Service 24/7,
Okay.
risking my life.
I don't want to hear your plans. I want to hear what you are going to do, like what you've already done. Like what are some things that you've already done, like that you've kind of been working on already?
Senate. Senate has about 5-6 members already, and we've got those members in a few days. And normally that takes an administration weeks to accomplish.
I will say this. I will be starting a new system where it will have every single executive order that a president has done. So I will find old executive orders that presidents have done, and I will put them in the Trello board. Obviously,
So essentially, a national records and administration
yes.
Yes.
seems
We need it badly. We need it badly.
seems reasonable to me. So, just a question: are you going to have like things like different cards that say like this president's EOs, this president's, or just have them all in one thing where it says EO number 1 and it goes down to how many ever EOs have
Will
been
be an
created?
entire database.
Well,
Be on an
because
entire database.
that's how they do it in real life. Is a lot of presidents will, like the first president, say he starts with EO number 1. The second president also. And that is all, folks. We thank you for your time. We would just like to again say that the doomsday clock is at 17 minutes until midnight. And that'll be all. Good night, America.